Hello! So it's finally happened. I've finally gotten what I'm willing to consider a direct response to one of my videos. I'm very, very excited. Let's fucking do this. Now from that, I'm sure you're wondering. Because recently, I kind of poked fun at Sargon in my teal deer video. A teal deer said something that I thought specifically related to Sargon, so I kind of like went, haha, Sargon. So, you might be thinking from the title, Sargon's biggest mistake, that maybe it was that he was assuming that everybody was against him when maybe it wasn't really as big of a conspiracy as he thought. So, let's dig into this video.
Whoa. Okay, so as some of you may have already realized, I am not Sargon.
Yeah, that's right, I'm fucking with you. Sargon would never admit that shit. It's Waz. Waz, a couple of months, maybe a month or so ago. I don't know. It's funny because this is still actually, this video where this comes from is under dispute. So, very funny. I lost my train of thought. Wisely, everybody.
So for those of you who have subscribed for well-researched and even-killed commentary to enlighten you regarding the pressing issues of the day, imparted in a soft, reassuring British accent, yeah, you people are shit out of luck, because we ain't going to be doing none of that. What we're going to be doing is examining something I said a while ago in a video I made about Steve Shice, I think.
Now, when I got to this part, I mean, usually I just sit and play games on my phone and watch videos, and that kind of pricked up my ears because I was like, huh, that's interesting. He's gonna be addressing something that he said. Weird.
An observable reality that there are people who don't really fit within either one of those two boxes. That male box or that female box, they're not
Here's where I was absolutely focused on the TV. Because I was like, holy shit, that's what I made my video on Waz. He might be talking about me.
Technically really in any of them. They share aspects of both. So then the question becomes, what do you call those people? Now, lots of people didn't quite get what I meant by that.
Holy fucking shit!
Now, lots of people didn't quite get what I meant by that.
Holy fucking shit!
Now, lots of people didn't quite get what I meant by that.
Did you see me? Might have been tough to see me, but you saw the fucking heating pad. Yeah! 600,000 Sargon has 600,000 some subscribers. And he's on vacation now, and he's had people filling in for him, and Wazley has filled in for Sargon. He's making a response to the video that I made that's very evident here. He never mentions me, doesn't really show me. It's still cool. Like, personally, I think I'm very tickled. That's very hysterical. That's awesome. Like, that's really cool. Just for me. Professionally, that heating pad is going to be famous. Nobody's going to know who I am. God damn it. Well, whatever. It's still cool. It's still cool. Let's see what's going on.
Now, lots of people didn't quite get what I meant by that, so I got wave upon wave of people trying to talk to me about like chromosomes and genitals and a whole mess of shit. Now, in fairness, this was due to me. Everyone has a process when making their videos. Some people do copious amounts of research and write entire scripts full of incredibly well-detailed and laid out plans with sources and arguments nailing every single fucking point in the most precise manner possible.
See, and here's where I begin to question whether or not he's talking about me, because if he thinks I'm writing scripts...
My process seems to revolve around me drinking enough crack and rum to offset my...
I love crack and rum. It's amazing. When I found it, I was like, ooh, the Kraken. Because me and my one buddy, we have this fucking inside joke that we have this little toast that we do whenever we do shots of rum. And it's the stupid thing from, what was it? Pirates of the Caribbean, about the Kraken. Anyway, it's a dumb thing we do. So when I found Kraken rum, I thought that was hysterical, and I bought a bottle, and it's actually really good. It's more like a black licorice cordial. Like, calling it a rum, that's pretty generous. It tastes very black licorice. It's very black. It's very cool to drink. But yeah, it's good stuff. I like the Kraken rum, man. That's good shit. This is not a paid advertisement. That's good shit.
Natural state of apathy, and ensure that I actually give a fuck about what I'm talking about for long enough to rant about it and edit together a reasonable, or so some might argue reasonable video, once all the bullshit and superfluous crap has been cut out of that rant. Because some of the tangents I go on, some of them are just, like, I don't even care. I don't even care. Male-specific scented candles are easily the gayest shit I've ever fucking seen.
And I totally agree with you, man. I don't understand why you're still going on about this. I agree with you.
The fact that your scented candles come in like a black box and are called Morning Wood or Smoky Mountain Fires or some...
Dude, I told you, I don't care what color the box is, especially if it's black. If it's called Morning Wood, that's gay.
Shit, you're still spending money that could have easily gone on beer. So, yeah, go fuck yourself.
Dude, I agree with you.
Faggot.
I just don't think that's necessary.
And that's an interesting thing, because I specifically remembered listening back to the Steve Shives comment about sex, and I remembered thinking to myself, I should probably clip that one out, because I knew some ears would prick up, and I'd have to explain myself ad nauseum for fucking years.
No, you just gotta, I mean, I just wanted to know what you really thought. Like, what do you just really think? That's all I want to know.
But that point was sort of tied into another point, so I decided to leave it in. I was like, yeah, alright, fine, fuck it. Bit the bullet, left it in, hoping I might have got away with it, but I didn't. Which in a way is kind of good, because it led to this video, if people decide that was a good thing.
Well, personally, I think it's very cool, but professionally...
Anytime people talk about sex, that conversation gets really confusing really fast because people automatically jump to what they consider sex to be, which is why you'll have numerous people start dropping science on you the second you start talking about it. They start ranting about, like, fucking how the line in the sand is gametes or chromosomes or a ton of other shit.
Yeah, it's bullshit when people start dropping all that science on you to, prove their point. That's just nonsense.
And curiously, they never find each other to argue with, which is weird. So, if that's you, right now, furiously typing your comment, right now, stop. I see you, motherfucker. Just no. Just no.
Alright, well, you clearly have a point, so I'll stick with you. I like you, so I'm willing to give you the chance.
What we're discussing isn't beliefs of mine or anything, it's just something I've been thinking about for a while, and I think the consequences of a lot of this shit are very interesting. So, we need to concede a lot of stuff and take a lot of things as given in order to get to that interesting conversation, and the price for that conversation is conceding the point that sex and gender is a spectrum. Don't kill me!
Alright, so we're going with a hypothetical. Hypothetically, it's a spectrum. Alright, I'm with you.
I know. It's painful. It goes against all your natural instincts, but trust me. Just go with it. Consider it some kind of troll toll, if you will. Because you gotta pay the troll toll to get inside a boy's hole.
Hey, you're starting to lose me, but I'm still willing to listen. Where are you going with this?
Anyway, pretty soon you'll realize that even though you've accepted the points, all this shit conflicts with crap in the real world in pretty fucking awesome ways. For instance, we all know that there's a social aspect to gender, and how SJWs endlessly bitch about, respecting pronouns and whatnot. That's part of that. The thing is, in SJW land, gender is self-identifying. Your gender is something that's meant to be defined by you. Sex, however, is still not self-defined. That is something that is descriptive. It's an area where your opinion has no real bearing on your classification, which is very inconvenient for people who want to break this concept of, the binary and all that shit.
I'm willing to concede that SJWs like to split the two things up. They want to split the hairs, and I believe that that's ridiculous. I'm still with you.
So how do SJWs deal with this? Well, they introduce the spectrum, and they talk about aberrations in the binary. And in fairness, some of these arguments are not without merit. And
yeah, I would say that. Yeah, there are genetic abnormalities that make it more of a spectrum. I'm with you there.
I can see where they're coming from, but where they often fail, and often with glaring hypocrisy and potentially awesome opportunities we'll get there, they become pretty apparent when you try to apply these ideas in any capacity to the real world. And that's often the problem with these arguments. They suffer a great deal from one simple truth, and that truth is that they just don't really fucking matter. Because there's barely any real world effect to applying any of this shit.
Totally true. That's why I think it's so fucking funny. Like, it really doesn't matter what you specifically yourself identify as. It's the way that the world perceives you. And it's just hysterical that somehow matters that we're going to try and force people to perceive us the way. It's silly.
Like, what's been the greatest debate surrounding gender identity issues in the real world lately? Trans people using a different bathroom in a store in America? I mean, who gives a fuck?
Well, see, that's never been my problem with it. Damn it.
I don't give a shit what bathroom you use. I mean, the men's bathroom is typically disgusting, but hey, at least you don't have to wait 45 minutes to get into the fucking thing, right?
Yeah. Nobody ever brings up the actual concern. The concern is that there will be people that will use those laws to their advantage in order to take advantage of women. It happens now. There's people that set up cameras in fucking changing rooms and shit like that. It happens. And now you're going to make it a law to where you can't tell that guy, hey, you can't go in there. Like, nobody ever brings that up. It's always, don't want to tell the so stupid.
So you fucked either way, pick your poison. I mean, aside from that, the only other thing that comes to mind is the debate of our age, and that's whether or not traps are gay, which I don't even know why the fuck is a debate. Clearly they're not. And if you think they are, well then, I hope you die in a fire. And you scream in agony.
Okay, faggot, what's next?
See, I don't know what a trap is. I don't know if they're gay or not. I mean, I just don't know. That wasn't really a part of my video, so I don't know. I don't know what that is.
But there is one area where this shit surrounding sex and gender does matter, where it does have a huge impact. Sports.
Okay, yeah, of course. Yeah. That is becoming more of a concern lately. Alright, I'm intrigued.
Sports organizations have been plagued with clusterfucks surrounding rules and regulations as they try to embrace and accommodate more diversity and changing attitudes towards different genders and crap. With the social justice lobby just gradually chipping away at rules which are meant to ensure competition is not only fair, but competitive. Which is something a lot of them seem to fucking forget. Take, for instance, Fallon Fox. Now, for the uninitiated, Fallon Fox is a transgender MMA fighter, as in male to female. This is a man who transitioned to a woman and fights women.
Okay, so Waz mentioned earlier that he tends to go off on tangents, and this is going to be the first major tangent that I'm going to be removing from this video for timing purposes. Essentially what he does is he explains who Fallon Fox is and all the situation and controversy surrounding Fallon Fox, and it's MMA. It's a dude that fights women in MMA. Like, the obvious problems there. So he just expands that really long. So we're skipping that. Going on.
Now, as I see it, there's two long-term solutions to this, and you're not going to like either of them. Well, at first, at least. We are going somewhere, believe me. So the common sense approach that I see floated around quite often is to just have like a third sexual classification, which will basically function as a big box with a massive question mark on it, to function as a place to put everyone who falls outside of normal ranges for everything. Now, even those of you who are shaking your heads in disgust at me right now, just at the thought of legitimizing the concept that there are more than two genders, lest we lose yet another meme, even you probably acknowledge that if this is a problem and something has to be done, then this is probably the way to go. A common sense solution following a simple line of logic. We have people who don't fit in these categories, so make a category that they fit into. Problem solved. I feel you.
I'm willing to compromise there. I'm willing to say, all right, fine, we'll say that it's a spectrum, because now you have people that are impacting sports in such a way, things where it really, really does matter, real world application wise. I'm with you on that. fine. We can do that. That sounds like a really reasonable idea.
But that will never happen, because then you run into a whole host of issues where people born with a genetic abnormality which puts them outside of normal ranges are cast out of their natural grouping to compete with what will quickly be considered the freak show. Even if nobody says it. With trans people, the concept of passing is such a massive deal that they're likely to fight against being labelled as some kind of third sex tooth and nail. Cis people with freakishly high or low testosterone or a myriad of other conditions and traits, they won't want to be forced into competing with trans people. I mean, forgetting the disadvantages or advantages in competing in that kind of scenario, no cis woman wants everyone questioning whether or not she's a man. So look at Michelle Obama. She killed Joan Rivers over that shit. At least according to Alex Jones. And, you doubted him about the frogs being gay, but pfft, what now, motherfucker? What now? In any case, the third sex thing, that will just never pass. It's a non-starter.
Yeah. That is also a valid complaint. Yeah.
Which leaves the only other option, which is the exact option that SJWs would push for, which is to completely disregard sex and gender-based norms and treat everything as a spectrum. Which, on the surface, it may seem impractical, and it may also seem like a hell of a concession.
Yeah. I mean, that's a little bit extreme.
But I think it's a fucking great idea. Now, here's why before you lynch me. If you're not going to have divisions based on gender or sex, then you need to have some kind of system of handicaps and controls. Much like horse racing. In horse racing, if there's a really great horse that will fuck up the betting, they just shove a shitload of weight on its back to handicap it and keep things entertaining. Now, obviously, you need something more sophisticated for human beings. It doesn't make much sense to just handicap people based on the fact that they're really good at something.
Yeah, that sounds very Harrison Bergeron. I don't like the idea of that.
But you can tweak things to make an unfair situation maybe a little bit more fair. And if you're tailoring the rules to the specification of the competitors, then suddenly a lot of things start to become surplus to requirements. Weight classes and divisions of all kinds? Who the fuck needs them? Nobody. Nobody needs them. So imagine after the passing of time and people's natural inclination to push things as far as they possibly can, a situation emerges where this guy is slated to fight this guy.
Okay. This is definitely getting a lot more interesting. All right. I'm with you still.
Okay, Brock Lesnar. You are a former heavyweight UFC champion, an elite level wrestler, and a fucking freak of nature who, even if you were in a comic book, people would probably still say, shit man, that dude's pretty big. Sheldon, you are a fictional TV character on a mediocre show who would probably get knocked over by a strong breeze. Clearly, we need to work this out. So, here's what I'm thinking. Sheldon gets a knife. Any objections? What ho, chap? Yes, I have an objection. I am not made of stone, and a sharp object like that could pierce me quite easily, and I could very easily bleed out. I believe that is a disproportionate advantage to this young man over here. Alright, what if we gave you some kind of partial armor? Would that do? Oh yes, why?
Alright, so he goes through another long bit. It's actually kind of funny. The video is going to be linked down below. Essentially, it turns into the Roman Colosseum. Like, essentially, the whole process goes back and forth until they're in the fucking Roman Colosseum in gladiator armor and fucking equipment, fighting each other with lions and tigers and shit on the periphery to keep all the combatants in the center. Like, that's where it winds up going to, so...
And it doesn't end there, because if this shit ever happened, you know that animals are just around the corner. I mean, just think about it. Lions, tigers, bears. Oh, what's that? Corporate overlords, which have probably already seen this video get demonetized? You don't want PETA on your case? Well, I got news for PETA. They ain't doing shit to save tigers, short of taking nude photos of celebrities. Here's an actual incentive to kick up our conservation efforts. And people give those, like, canned hunting organizations in Africa shit about letting people shoot lions and whatnot, but who the fuck needs to breed lions? Why? Why the fuck would you do that if not to profit from shooting them in the fucking head? Do you have any idea how much you need to feed a goddamn lion? It costs about 10 grand a year to keep the fucking things alive. What other reason would you possibly have to breed lions?
And it's funny, because that goes kind of nicely with my argument against being vegetarian. Why would you breed fucking animals if not to use them for some sort of purpose? You know?
This is a perfect scenario, damn it. This is a scenario where everybody wins. Well, except for the people who lose in the arena, obviously. But this is, I mean, this...
What is it, Waz? You seem conflicted. You seem like you want to admit something, but you just don't know what it is. Come on, use your words.
Alright, I just really want to see a man fight a fucking bear. Is that too much to ask? Really? Can't I want what I want? Is that so bad? I don't know why I want to see it so badly. I suspect it might have something to do with that documentary by Werner Herzog, Grizzly Man, which was one of the greatest unintentional comedies I have ever fucking seen.
So he goes into describing that documentary and how the whole documentary was leading up to listening to the audio of the couple getting killed, and you never get to hear it, and he's upset about that. So it's funny. Again, watch the video. It's pretty funny tangent, but
so yeah, after that epic cockblock, I kind of want to see a man fight a bear. And if I have to allow SJWs to get a big old tick in the win column, then that shit just has to happen. And come on, man, I can't be alone in this shit, right? There's only one type of person I suspect would be against me in this endeavor, other than Werner Herzog himself, cunt that he is. I mean, call me cynical, but I suspect a correlation between the people who would prevent this from happening and the people who would argue that traps are in fact gay.
I still don't know what a trap is. Sorry.
Now, call me paranoid, call it a hunch, but the kind of rigid inflexibility and fear of new ideas one would need to be holding onto in order to assert that straight men finding people who look like attractive women to be attractive, gay, seems exactly like the kind of backwards thinking that would prevent me from seeing a man get mauled to death by a bear in an arena.
Okay, I think I get it. So a trap would be a trans woman that's really passable and attractive, and guys think they're attractive, and some guys think those guys are gay. Yeah, I don't think they're gay. Like, if you find an attractive woman attractive, doesn't mean you're gay, just because she has a penis. You know? Like, until the penis is in your mouth. That's pretty gay. Yeah, once the penis passes the lips, that's when you're getting into that, like, bisexual gay category. Like, that's where you're moving that direction. Yeah.
Whilst eating snacks. Preferably nachos.
That would be cool. Nachos, like a nacho, like at a baseball game, you get a dog, you know, and fucking watch a man fight a bear. That'd be sweet. That would be so sweet.
Point being, you can talk about traps being gay as much as you want, but if you are going to stand in the way of the kind of progressive policies that may one day lead to us seeing a man and a bear stand together in an arena as equals and fight to the death, then it's going to be really fucking clear to everybody exactly who the real faggots are.
Alright, so I've heard the argument. I understand where you're coming from, Waz, and I gotta say, like, I've made a lot of videos talking about my beliefs about this, about, you know, there being only two genders, not counting deformities and genetics and stuff like that. You know, it's kind of been one of my linchpin issues. So for me to reconsider it, it would have to be a damn good argument. And I gotta say, you know, I'm not above considering an alternative point. I am not so hardline on all of my issues that I'm not willing to seriously consider an opposing point of view. So, considering your point of view of allowing this sort of thing to happen in order to see men fight bears in an arena, I gotta say, man, I am willing to concede to you that point. That is brilliance. It's what I like you for, Waz. You always have some unique way of looking at something. You're always very forward thinking, sir. It's marvelous, your idea. I think it's something I can fully get behind. I believe now that gender is a spectrum. There are many different types of people, and, you know, why should we classify people based on things like age and, you know, weight and height and gender and stuff like that? It's just, it's crazy talk. I mean, if we want to become a progressive society that's really inclusive and that wants to involve everybody. And, you know, why can't animals also be a part of that? It just makes more logical sense, honestly, than creating a whole third class of people. I mean, why do we want to dice people up in society even more than we already do? It's just bad business, you know? And like you said, conservation-wise, people will want to start breeding animals like lions and tigers, and maybe those populations will rebound, and that's just good for us too, you know? If we want to talk about climate change and things of that nature, sure. I mean, it's the circle of life. It's all, you know, and death happens to be a part of life, you know? And sometimes you eat the bear, and sometimes the bear eats you. But I think this is really, you know, I think this is changing hearts and minds, and I'm glad that I was able to be a part of this. I'm glad, Waz, that you deemed it necessary to bring this to light. I really think it's inspired work you do over there. It's awesome, man. Thank you.